Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 982 and today we are finally back with another brand new video. Today's video, unfortunately, the international break is still going on, which means the content is about as weak and see-through as toilet paper down the pan. Gonna be honest with you, didn't see it going there for the start, but we're here now. Let's go. If you are new around here though and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. It's free, it's right down there, doesn't cost you a penny, it just helps us on our journey towards 55 frickin' K. Gonna be honest with you, I do realise that making a reference that the channel's down the toilet with no content, then asking new people to subscribe doesn't really work, but if that's not a perfect summary of this channel, I don't care what is, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off with the first part of today's video, let's discuss the biggest Rangers rumour of this week that just will not go away, if I'm honest with you. It's none other than Claudio Marchisio. No, I'm not kidding. And now, before we go any further, like 99.9% of you that's going to be clicking on today's video, I thought the exact same thing as you did when you heard this ridiculous Rangers rumour. That smells like sh. And at first it definitely seemed that way because it just came out of absolute nowhere. No one was confirming or denying it, and we all just kind of looked at it saying, right, that's going to fade away very quickly and be yesterday's news before we know it. But ladies and gentlemen, this first broke about 7 or 8 days ago. Yeah, as recently as the last 48 hours, there is more media outlets reporting that Rangers are in for this guy. And not only are Rangers just in for the guy, by the way, nah. They are apparently one of the front runners to get him. It's between Rangers and Monaco. That's what's out there right now. That's what's being reported. Now, as you may or may not be able to tell, I am still completely sceptical about this entire thing. But listen, it's the international break, so let's have a little bit of fun and discuss an international Rangers rumour. Now, the word legend gets thrown around a lot these days in football. I mean, you score 1 goal, you're a legend. You play 10 games for a club, you're Rangers. You kiss the badge during celebrations, you're a club legend. But I think it's fair to say that this man is definitely the definition of a legend, especially during his time for Juventus, where he was absolutely brilliant, playing nearly 400 times for the club. And during those years at Juventus, he received 55 caps for his country. That's right, that man sits on 55 caps for Italy. I can see now where the rumour started. Someone saw that and just created the story, haven't they? I've cracked it. But all joking and that aside, I could sit here and talk about this guy's accomplishments and what he achieved during his run for Juventus all damn day, but that's in the past now, unfortunately. What has he been up to lately? Unfortunately, the answer is not a lot, ladies and gentlemen, because the man just can't seem to shake this injury to his knee. In fact, he only played 15 times last season for Zenit before cutting ties and moving on from the player. This guy's without a club for a reason, and it's the fact that he just cannot, unfortunately, stay fit. But setting his injury record to one side for a brief moment, what did he do during those 15 games? Was he the Marchisio that ran the show for Juventus? Was he that guy? If I'm honest with you, it was a little bit mixed reports. I tried to dive in, I tried to look back, I tried to go back to tweets. That's why this video is a wee bit more delayed than normal. And it honestly looked like one game he was good, one game he was a passenger, and people was just asking, what player is he now? What player is left in there? Now, he didn't score during his time out in Russia, but he did pick up 2 assists in the 15 games before, again, the dreaded knee injury. But it is worth noting, as of today, when I'm currently recording today's video, that he is apparently fully fit and ready to go, and apparently over his latest knee injury. But if you look back at his history, even during Juve, there was a lot of times, especially towards the latter stage of his career, that he did miss a couple of games or even a couple of months with a couple of knocks. So he's starting to pick up, which is unfortunate. But again, I really hope that the guy is right and he is fully fit and ready to go, and he can play out the rest of his career without the issues, because he certainly deserves it. He's been one of these guys, just a classic football player, runs his heart out and plays for the badge. So hopefully they can get a couple more seasons injury free. But before we wrap up and hand the reins over to you guys to share your opinion on this week's Rangers rumour, there is one last thing we always need to do whenever we do these types of videos, is dive in and look at the competition for places. And the centre mid spot at Rangers is one of the most absolutely stacked positions you're likely to ever see at a football club. I mean, it's dirty at this point. You've got Ryan Jack, Stephen Davis, Glenn Kamara, Joe frickin' Aribo. You've got Andy King on there, who's still not had a sniff yet, and all of our expectations were very high about that. You've got the likes of Greg Dockery and Scotty Arfield, who may go back to a more central role now that we've got Ryan Kent on one side and Ojo on the other. That is stacked sick. But even though I am completely sceptical with this entire move, and it's hard for me to picture him in a Rangers shirt, especially with that Monaco moolah that he's being offered. If he was here at the football club, I'm pretty sure he would jump pretty damn high in that old competition for places. I don't think he'd be battling near the bottom, especially with this man's pedigree. But with everything being said in today's video, we've now reached that point to just hand the reins over to you guys. What do you think about this absolute crazy, beautiful, delicious, clickbaity Rangers rumour? Do you believe there's anything in it? And do you think he will sign for the club? And while you guys are hopefully getting your opinions down there in the comment section below, I will give you mine very, very briefly. Do I think that this deal is real? No. And do I think we'll sign him? No. If it was real and we were really in for him, how can we compete with the wages that Monaco can offer, especially with it being tax-free? You know what I mean? A lot of moolah over there, ladies and gentlemen, and moolah probably talks when you've got that injury record, you're at the 31 now, you've done everything you could pretty much do in football, both at international level and during his time at Juventus. I think money's going to talk in this one, if it is real, that is. And just trying to think from a business perspective, would you throw all that money at this guy whose injury record right now, as it stands, is very similar to a man that we just paid off in Graham Dorrance? Would we risk that? I mean, we took a punt with Graham Dorrance and it never worked at all. We had to end up paying the guy off. Will we try that again, especially for a lot more? But before we wrap up today's video, I want to do something slightly different with the Rangers rumours, because there is so much excitement about these free agents, and I'm seeing people discuss it and ask me, if you were to sign a free agent, who would it be? Because that's where the market is right now. The transfer window's shut. It's just free agents time. So I've actually picked 2 free agents that I'd personally sign who I think would improve Rangers this season. So I'm going to tell you mine, and I'd absolutely love it if you have watched to this point in the video, if you just shared your opinion. Again, this is just pure speculation just by me, and I'm picking these 2 players. There's no solid links at all. I just think it'd be interesting to see where our heads are at, to see what we need going into the next part of the season. So first up, I'm going to pitch you Martin Olsson, the left back who's 31, who has now just recently left his club in the summer. Now, a lot of you guys, if you've watched this channel for a long time, will recognise that I discussed this guy two and a half months ago, because he was heavily linked with the football club then. But unfortunately, that all quietened down and we seem to just move away from looking at this guy because of the re-emergence of John Flanagan and the simple way that he returned from his hernia operation, his original one. It just looked absolutely incredible. So it almost looked like we didn't need to look at another left back, and we moved on. Well, unfortunately, now John Flanagan has picked up another knock and he needs another operation to sort it out, so he will be missing again, and that just leaves us with BB and Andy Halliday. So I think a return for him, maybe look at Martin Olsson for the rest of the season, just to add a wee bit of strength and depth in that position. I think it would work out. His stats last season, by the way, were 17 games in total and 1 assist before he got a knock, and then he just dropped out the squad, obviously, to get healthy, and unfortunately the form of the other left back that was in his spot just simply took his place. It was one of those situations. Now he is without a club and waiting on a phone call. And the last person who is free right now and available, fully fit, is Wilfred Bonny. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before you scream at me, what year is it and stuff like that, I just want to say this guy is still only 31 years old. He still averages a goal every 2 games. Yes, he's not hitting the headlines like he did a couple of years ago when he was at Swansea, then Man City, and even the return to Swansea never quite worked out. But if Gerrard is looking for that number 3 striker just to sit in that spot, just to provide something different in case the other 2 is either injured, suspended, or is simply not working in the game, I think we could do a hell of a lot worse than the big man. And his stats for last season was during a short loan spell in Saudi Arabia, where he played 7 games and he banged 5 goals. So it shows that when he is called upon, he can still put the ball in at the back of the net. And again, with Zach Rudden leaving, Dallas leaving, we're extremely short in striking options. I think pop him in there, I think we could do a hell of a lot worse, if I'm honest. Now, I know the wages are going to be coming up in a lot of people's minds saying, CJ, this guy will want stupid money for this, stupid money for that. But can I just remind you, we were just talking about Claudio Marchisio, okay? Literally 5 minutes ago. But with all that being said, we've now reached the end of today's episode. Sorry for sort of throwing the curveball towards the end of today's video. I just really wanted to discuss something just slightly different on the channel, because we're normally always like straight on the point with news, but I just wanted to see where your heads were at. Now that the international break is finally over and we're almost back playing football, do you think that this Rangers team is exactly what it needs to be, or is there positions that we need to strengthen? If so, what positions and who would you like to bring in to fill those spots? But I'm sure even though I've been gone for a couple of days, you're sick of hearing from me now, so let's end today's video. But before we do that, I need to give a massive thank you to the absolute legends on the Patreons account. I genuinely can't thank you guys enough. I know I say it in every single video, but it's never watered down. It's never just said for that. I genuinely appreciate all the support, and it's helping in a long way to improving the channel. If you would like to support it, as always, link for that is down there in the description below. And last but not least, I've been CJ Novo 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.